Previously on the Simply Human podcast.
Caveat: I was best male dancer out of 6 bad male dancers. So that's like saying you have the fastest minivan. Here's my truth.
The fastest minivan.
I love it. Wow.
That is insane.
It's episode
244
of the Simply Human podcast with your hosts Mark and Rick. 2 human beings being human. Our goal is to help you understand how humans are designed to eat, sleep, move, enjoy, and how you can start living more like a human today. On today's show, you need to click back over to the script.
Read graphic on screen now. You have to put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
That's the best.
We've done that.
Video ever.
It is Jodi Sternoff Cohen. Jodi is the founder of Vibrant Blue Oils, where she has combined her training in nutritional therapy and aromatherapy to create unique proprietary blends of organic and wild-crafted essential oils. And anyway, there's lots of fun stuff to get to. I'm wearing my undefeated dad joke champion. Bad puns are how I roll. Oh, are you going to do this real quick? We talked about this within the last month.
But I've thought about it earlier today. This is now the second time I've thought about it. So let's see if I can
pull it up
here on the screen.
Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Tony. Look on graphic for the final 2 bullet points.
Look on graphic for the final 2 bullet points. He was supposed to internally read that, and that was an instruction.
Oh, and he is like 100 years old, and so there is no way he caught that too. Look on graphic for final 2 bullet points. Go F yourself, San Diego. It's the real life version of the Go F yourself, San Diego.
So I have a breaking and important news.
Well then,
the camera may be worse, but this is a new.
Not maybe.
It's a new
The resolution on your camera is not as good as the old one, but you have a new laptop.
New laptop, and it's got better SS giger boppers.
You got the inline specs on the rotary girder.
It's supposed to be great, and I already produced 2 video shows today and put them up, and it's great. Now
Our one listener will get off my back about it.
So the audio, I tried to transfer it over, and I lost a lot of the audio, but I transferred it back, and it was there. So until I'm recording this audio on the new one, the video will transfer over in the videos. But the next I've got 3 shows that I've got to do on the old one and just the audio.
Yeah.
Then I can be done with that laptop.
What are you going to do with that laptop? Just throw it in the garbage?
No, it actually it still works. It's still the internet is fine on it. So the kids can use it to
kids
look up, site
look up what?
stuff.
Science stuff, huh?
Sites.
Oh, I thought you said science. Wow. Science.
Man, I was reading my son, my 7-year-old son, it's this book about the sun and the earth, and I'm just like, dang, the earth is so much smaller than the sun. Can you imagine the sun exploded? We would all die.
I had a conversation with someone the other day about this, that if we were any closer to the sun, then we would all die. Or we were any further away from the sun, we would all die.
This much.
There's a conversation with somebody at work, and they're like, "Nah, I don't think so." And I'm like, "No. Literally, the Earth is in the exact perfect location.
Within a millimeter.
Any closer to the sun, we would all burn up immediately. But any further away, we would all freeze to death instantaneously.
If it was
I don't think so, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's.
Well, think about this.
Blowing my mind that they wouldn't listen to this. But
when you look at the scale of how much bigger Jupiter is than the Earth, it's the Earth is
it's like
this.
the head of a pencil.
And then Jupiter is like this.
Jupiter is like a beach ball. Earth is like the head of the tip of a pencil. And
when you can see Jupiter, and it's just a star. It's a bright star, but it's not lighting up.
It's not a star.
It's not lighting up, or when you're looking up at the sky,
you can see it in the sky. Yes,
but it's not lighting your path.
Yeah,
the sun will burn your skin.
Yeah,
if
you're outside too long, it will burn your skin.
Right.
You can't look at it because it will burn your eyeballs.
That's how much bigger the sun is than Jupiter.
Man, I had an argument the other day with someone.
We need to slow this conversation down. Man, sun is
Man, the
so
sun is
big.
so crazy, man. I had an argument with someone the other day. It was when the Stars were in the Stanley Cup. It was the Stars versus the Lightning. This person was arguing with me.
She was going to try to crawl.
Oh,
Did y'all see what was there was like a Zoom thing, like the wife was going to try to like crawl through, and you could just clearly see her like crawling in the background. What was that? Anyway.
But I had an argument with someone when the Stars were playing the Lightning over what is more powerful, the Stars or the Lightning. And this person was like, oh, the Lightning is super powerful because, and I was like, you don't understand. The sun is a star. It's not even a really big star. It's like considered to be a moderate sized star. And if we were any closer to it, we'd burn up. And this person was like, no. I think lightning is far more powerful. And I was like,
what is your favorite space fact?
You're going to put me on the spot here.
I know. Space is super.
Okay, so I think it's that Venus is hotter. I believe. Okay, this may not be true because my 12-year-old told me.
But then that's definitely
Venus,
true.
The surface temperature of Venus is hotter than the surface temperature of Mercury. Mercury is right next to the sun, but because of like the gaseous atmosphere of Venus, it traps the heat and the UV rays. I think.
Because you may
have been screwing with me. Hang on a second.
Because of the gaseous atmosphere of your butt. You know what my favorite fact is? Uranus. That's it.
Venus, with its is the exception, as its proximity to the sun and dense atmosphere make it our solar system's hottest planet. The average temperatures of planets in our solar system are Mercury is about 800 Fahrenheit during the day. Venus is about 880 Fahrenheit during the day. And so
he was right.
Mercury is right next to the sun, but Venus is one planet further away. It's the second planet from the sun, but it's hotter. That's a good.
So your son is a genius space man.
I don't think so. I think he probably just heard it in school. I don't think he calculated this himself. I don't think he's in a laboratory. Like, Eureka! I've got it.
Dr. Spaceman. 30 Rock.
Great names.
So my son tonight, we were looking at the book, and I said something about, wow, look at Uranus. And he doesn't understand it. He's 7. He was like, what's Uranus?
Idiot. What an idiot.
I know. He was like, what's Uranus? And I was like, yeah, Uranus right there.
Nothing like making a joke to a 7-year-old who doesn't get it. Why don't you wisen him up and let him know what that means?
There was something else. So we're sitting in a deer blind this weekend, and no technology. I didn't have my phone. He didn't have a tablet or anything. We just sat there, and just we're alone within nature. We didn't shoot anything. Don't worry.
Boring.
And he goes, "Hey, Dad, I got a joke." I was like, "What?" He was like, why didn't the deer run away? I was like, why? He goes, because it was dead.
Hey. Your son's really going with the dark humor. Why didn't the deer run away? Because we're all just beings on this crazy marble, man.
Because he had an existential enlightenment.
Because really, what is running away? Because the Earth is a sphere, so if you're running away, you're really running towards. It depends on your perspective, man.
Which reminds me, I had to bleep out when you said, if in Texas, then you look far enough, you can see your own. Boop. I have
not a word. That you don't have to bleep ASS.
I have a new bleeping tool, and it's like...
Like an old-timey horn.
It sounds like it's a funny noise. You'll have to. But it's only going to be on the videos. You'll have to watch the video.
You'll get to watch it. You'll get to use it a bunch in the last one we recorded because you're the one who told this joke about the zoo with the dog.
Oh yeah.
And then I repeated it about 900 times just so you would have to bleep it out.
I think I do remember that. Okay, very quickly. One up this.
Yes.
I have a good one. Very quickly.
Okay.
This is a good one.
God, I hate when you pull this on me because, that's what she said. Because then I'm caught flat-footed. Okay,
well, no, this will be one I think just pops in there. That's what she said. Tell a story about yourself that is often repeated by family and or friends.
You're gonna have to go first. Give me a chance to think.
Okay, so I have a lot of things that happen to me. I think the first.
You live in a family of raconteurs. Like everyone in your family has the gift of storytelling for
So-
sure. And
so-
you all do dumb things all the time. And
Right,
so
but-
it's like a hilarious treasure chest of stories.
So this is unrelated, but my brother Brad, who you know, texts all the family because it's a Rogers Thanksgiving, and he's like, "All right, we're doing a cake off competition. Everybody's got to bake their own cake. 8 cakes, anonymous." And we're like, "What? How is that even possible?" It's like, yeah, this whole elaborate scheme. And then I was like, I said, because of something that you said earlier, I said I will be submitting a sleeve of Rolos as my cake. Okay, but the first story that popped into my head on, okay, friends, like there's I get run over, there's the cactus story. I have all the stories, pooping in my pants story. There was a time this is back in 2015, and I was like really going crazy, like hardcore keto.
Yeah.
Like on the weekend now, like I might like yesterday we had pizza for dinner, and I ate a couple of pieces of Supreme pizza. Like no big deal, right?
Ooh,
Yeah.
look at the badass over here.
But
Sorry.
I'm not believing that.
Good.
And but like at this moment, we were in, I think we were in Athens, Georgia for a football game. It was on this football trip that we go on, and we go into this like sports bar to like, it's a Friday night. We're in Athens. We got all our Georgia stuff on. We're fitting in with the people, and there was like, it was too long of a line. The wait was going to be too long. We were starving. We didn't want to wait 2 hours for a pizza. And I looked over, and there was like this, like one piece of pizza gone from this pizza that was up on one of those like metal things they come and serve the pizza on, you know, like it's like elevated off the table. And I was like, and there was no one at the table. And I was like, look, this pizza, is like leftover. So I went over there before anyone in our party knew what was happening. And I was like eating all the topping off of the pizza. Uh-oh, you froze. Are you there? Just kidding. Just kidding.
No, I hate it.
What's the last thing you heard?
Okay, so there was a pizza place. You were starting to talk about the pizza place.
Okay, so it was, yeah, and I was like, oh, you froze because you're just like. So we go to this place, and it was going to be like 2 hours for a pizza, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. It's like, no, we don't want to wait that long, but we're hungry. And I looked over, and there was this empty table with like a pizza up on one of those elevated things. You know, they bring the pizza and they put it up on the thing, and there was only like one piece gone. It was like a Supreme pizza. And so before anyone in my party can stop me or even knows what I'm doing, I go over there and I am like eating just the toppings off of the pizza. Okay. And I'm over there just like going crazy. And because I'm starving, I hadn't eaten all day. And I walked back over and they were like, what are you doing? And at that moment that I walked over, these like college guys like kind of came back over to their table.
And you'd eaten all the toppings.
And all that was left of their pizza was just the bread and the sauce. And they were all just like, what the heck? And like, we were like, we got to get out of here. So,
hey guys, look at that over there.
Yeah. Through the window. But I was with Blake, and you know Blake. It's like,
Yes.
he could hold his own, but it was like 10 college students. Like,
Yeah, could Blake do a 10-on-1?
no, we both made the same face. Okay, so that's the story that I know. Like 2 of the other guys in that group, like always bring that up. Like,
Man, I choke on things like this. I can't come up with like a good story about me that.
Well, I'm
people
trying to
tell.
think of one. Okay, what about one that I have told? The kolache, the tray one. But we've
Okay,
told.
that is definitely one that anytime I'm around your dad, that one gets retold. So
But
I worked.
We've told that one though. Is that you can
Yeah,
tell?
we've told it like 400 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So in high school, I wanted to get a job, but I played hockey and then I was on the basketball team, so it was hard to get an after school job. So I had to get something in the mornings. Well, I worked at Mark's dad's bakery for like a month before he fired me when I got through. And
well, that's in the contract. You can't get the flu.
so he would pull the trays full of the baked goods or whatever and put them on like this tray racks.
Nice family.
And you couldn't tell by looking at them whether they had been on there for a while or
They
whether
weren't glowing red or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we needed, and you would, there was like the display cabinet in front, kind of like a donut shop. And, if your thing was, you remove the empty tray, put a full one on there, and we were out of cinnamon rolls. And so I grabbed the cinnamon roll tray, and it was so unbelievably hot that I didn't realize for like a good solid 3 seconds that it was like 1,000 degrees. And so I grabbed it off with my bare hands and I'm just walking over to the display. And then I realized about 4 steps away that like my hands are melting. My hands look like the face of the guy at the end of the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they open up the Ark of the Covenant. That's what my hands look like. And I'm like 4 steps away from the tray.
You're like right in the middle.
Tray thing, and 4 steps away from the thing. And I was like, like I had nowhere. I don't even remember where I put it. I didn't drop it on the floor because your dad would have, he literally murdered me in front of all the witnesses. He would have not cared. But I set it down on something, and your dad was just so dumbfounded. He was just watching me like he couldn't say anything.
Well, the way he tells it is that you went over there and he said, and this could be him misremembering, but he said, "Hey, get an oven mitt," and you put the oven mitt like on your left hand.
Oh, that might have been it actually. And I grabbed it with my right hand. Yeah, that might have been it.
So in this comedy, you're like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh," all the while you have an oven mitt.
That very well may be true. It's been a good solid 23 years since that's happened. So yeah, that might be that. That is a good
funny. All right. So that's good. We told our stories. We did one of this game. So let's get to Jodi. We talked to Jodi.
We do.
For 30 minutes. And we talked to her about her birthday, which is November 14th, which is in 5 days.
That is true.
We talk about
that reminds me of my parents' anniversary, I think it's somewhere
which is when
too. Also on the 14th. Okay.
Oh, my parents' anniversary.
Crap, that's this Friday. That's a Saturday. Gosh.
Yep, because my parents is the 21st, which is also Jen's 40th birthday. I'm excited. We talked to her about her birthday. Astrological signs, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, muscle testing, the nervous system, Jodi's habits, gratitude, running, heart rate variability, the 80-20 rule, her book, 5 steps, sleep, and hugs. Here's Jodi. Jodi, where are you right now? Not like what room of your house. What city are you in?
I'm in Seattle.
I don't know what room of your house you're in.
I'm in the basement because it has a hard wire, and Seattle has all this crazy Wi-Fi stuff going on. So when I didn't use the hard wire, sometimes it would just lose Wi-Fi. So
what crazy Wi-Fi stuff of which?
Oh, we're just 5G central, so they're always like doing weirdness. Where in the world are you?
Rick, I will let you.
I'm in Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, good fun.
Yes, it is great fun. And Mark is in Abilene, Texas, which you don't know where that is, but it is roughly 2.5 hours west of Fort Worth, right in the middle of West Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Rick, turn up your bottom left knob.
How about this? Better? Better?
That's better. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So we're recording. We will have already recorded an intro for you. And do you go by, I know your...
I go by Jodi Cohen. Sternoff is my maiden name.
Okay.
And it just makes it easier for people to find me because there are too many Jodi Cohens in the world.
Any relation to the Cohen brothers?
No relation to anyone interesting. I'm Cohen is through marriage.
Oh, okay. Rick, how did you roll your eyes at me?
How many times have you received that question, Jodi? Because it seemed like you have gotten that before.
Maybe once or twice. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Mark is the king of the obvious question.
No, there are no obvious questions. Ask away.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. It's Rick, and actually Rick's schedule has been a little different here lately. He hasn't been on at the beginning of a call, so we've had to do this in the middle or the end of the call. Rick, let's guess her birthday.
Okay, so Jodi, we do this thing, and I can't really tell you why or how it started, but it did many years ago. Mark and I each get 2 cracks at guessing your birthday. Not the year, just the day, the month and the day. Please allow the record to reflect that I am the only one who has managed to guess someone's birthday. I nailed it. And Mark has never done it, so I'm leading. 1-0 career. Mark will defer to me to guess first, and the reason being it will reduce the odds from him to 1 out of 365. It will reduce it to 1 out of 364 if I don't get it. So it's only fair because I am the reigning champion. July 17th.
No, but I'm glad you think I'm a Cancer. That's flattery.
I'm a Cancer. Yeah, Cancer.
Oh,
Woo!
here we go.
Cancers are very nice.
Cancers are awesome. Even though they have a weird, I wish they would change the name of our
Yeah,
astrology.
you guys have a branding problem.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't want to be Cancer. I want to be something else. How about crabs? Just kidding. July 4th.
No, that would still make me a Cancer,
Yeah,
but
Mark,
no,
I
sadly.
feel like maybe Mark wasn't taking full advantage of the information you received.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm behind 1-0.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm going to go with October 12th.
No, but I love Libras also. They're the easiest people to like.
I'm gonna go June. Just kidding. I'm trying to, February 16th.
Nope.
All
That's
right.
a great day.
What is it?
It's November 14th. I am a Scorpio, which is why I do have Cancer in me. I'm Scorpio, Cancer, and Virgo. So I'm bitchy, emotional, and organized.
Well, then, what is a Pisces? I'm a Pisces. What does that mean for me?
Pisces are fun. Pisces are very intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
They're very kind. Usually, they're very sensitive.
Are they mean to their longtime childhood friends a lot?
Yes, they are. It's funny that you asked that.
Well,
That he might have some fire in him, which would be more like if he has Leo. You know, it's not just your sun sign; it's your moon sign and your rising sign. Pisces are not normally mean.
Well, I've never had a Leo inside me, so.
Ah! If you know your date of birth and your time of birth and where you were born, there's an online tool that can tell you like what all your other variables are.
okay, let's talk about
I
this.
feel like now we have ventured down the rabbit hole that is very interesting.
Because
Yeah.
but it's interesting, like, you know, I didn't really grow up, you know, knowing anything about the astrological science. That wasn't really a thing. That was seen more as maybe
Witchcraft.
Witchcraft was the word I was going to use for my upbringing.
Yeah.
But I like when I meet another Cancer, it's like instant connection. There's something to it, and I always say like the thing that an example that I give that people think they can separate themselves from the natural like cycles of life is like the moon cycle. Like the moon moves the ocean, and then we somehow think that it doesn't affect us. In some way. That seems crazy to me. So
when there's a full moon, I get I start like I get a lot of hair that emerges, and I start howling.
Rick is a werewolf.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I've never met
You're not
one.
supposed to tell everyone, Mark.
Oh, sorry.
That's our secret.
So, but what like from the birth when you're born and on the moon and all that? Like, there's something to this.
Yeah, I mean, so my daughter is 16, and with COVID, she got into astrology. It's the CoStar app and you can follow people and see what all of their variables are. But the way I see it, if you believe that you have more than one life, then it's kind of your roadmap, like what you plan before you come in, and at any point while you're down here and have amnesia as to why you're here, it's kind of what you can look to know to remember what you kind of signed up for.
Huh. That's very interesting. And I will say, like, Ariana Grande and I have the same birthday.
Ooh.
And Derek Jeter.
I was born on February 29th, so I share the birthday with the guy who invented the submarine. That's pretty much it.
That's fun.
What is that? What is the leap baby like? Is that saying anything about anything? If you're a leap,
I don't. What I know from my daughter.
Yeah. You're like, we've reached the end of that area of expertise. We're going to move on now. So
yeah.
Let's talk about your story. So I already said we kind of gave you a more formal intro in the beginning of the show. Let's kind of hear from you. What is your sort of Cliff's Notes version of how you got to where you are now?
Kind of wounded healer, that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I was pretty boring for, the first part of my life. I had my first child. She was super easy. I just assumed I was a great parent. So I had my second one 22 months later. He was not so easy. And I spent a lot of time taking parenting classes and trying to figure out, he was very Tasmanian devil. Off he would run, no impulse control. And one day he loved the zoo, he loved animals. So we were all at the park, and a friend of mine was complimenting me on how well behaved he was. And then another mom handed out Ritz crackers, and he Jekyll-Hyde-ed, and she said, "Oh my goodness. My brother was on Ritalin his whole life, and it turned out he was just allergic to weird foods. You should go to a nutritionist." And I thought, that's easy. I've done everything else. We took him to a nutritionist. I had zero expectation. He told us to take him off corn, soy, and dairy. We did, and the next day I had a different child who was super easy. And I thought, this is so crazy. I need to learn more. So I went back and got a degree in nutrition.
Wow.
I was trying to help other moms with squirmy kids, and squirmy kids are really hard to assess. So I learned this technique called muscle testing that allows you to kind of tune in to their body and ask questions and identify what remedies will help. And that came in quite handy when I had kind of my first wounded healer experience. My husband at the time was bipolar, attempted suicide, and needed to be hospitalized, actually in Texas. There's a residential treatment facility in Houston because there was none in Seattle. And so his family helped move him. And once I knew that he was safe and it wasn't my job to keep him alive, I hit rock bottom. I had no energy, no motivation, could barely function or get out of bed. The kids were 5 and 7. I had a full-time job, and I was now a single parent and also like room mother. I was that ridiculous volunteer. So I needed to find something, and I knew enough to know what remedies should be helping, but nothing I was ingesting seemed to move the needle. Because I was uber volunteer, I'd helped a friend who came by with a big box of essential oils, which I'd never really played with. And she said, "These are going to help you." And I said, "Great. What do I do?" And she said, "You're intuitive. You'll figure it out." And she left. And
so you started just drinking all of the bottles of essential oils?
I knew enough not to do that, but I was pretty lethargic, and I kind of thought like, well, I can muscle test for my adrenals. Like this I can do. And the way muscle testing works for me, it's probably different for everyone, but for me, it's like a volume thing. Like if something's really powerful, it feels very loud. And I got a strong response, and I got a little excited and optimistic. But then I got 5 bottles, and I thought, well, this is weird. What do I do with this? And then it occurred to me, oh, you can combine them. So because I was a novice, I went in my kitchen and grabbed a shot glass, which is not how one typically mixes essential oils, but I kind of tested them, put them together, put it on my low back, which is where your adrenals are most accessible, and felt like myself super quickly. I was like, oh my God, I can go running. I can go to the supermarket. I can clean the house. I got more done in that day than I had in the previous 2 weeks. And what I didn't know at the time was when you're super stressed and you're releasing stress hormones like cortisol, that can be really rough on your digestion and your gut. And so it can make it harder for you to actually assimilate nutrients and supplements. So even though I was taking all the right things, they weren't actually getting to where they were supposed to go. So when I started topically applying things, our skin is our biggest organ. You can put nicotine patches, you can put hormone creams, pretty much anything you put on your skin gets into your system. And it doesn't really matter if your digestion is messed up or not. So once I kind of figured out that was a good workaround, I got really interested. And I started thinking about all the cool things you could do, like kids who won't eat kale or healthy vegetables, but they'll let you give them a foot rub. And I'm like, this is interesting. Like, I bet someone must be doing this. So I went online and was really surprised at 2 things. Not only was no one looking at oils that way, but they made it really complicated. And I was a little bit grateful that I was so white that I couldn't even research it, because I would have felt unqualified. So that's how I got started.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. We talk about it on the show. Sympathetic is kind of the fight or flight. The parasympathetic is the rest and digest, or however that, whatever the term you're going to use. So I always explain to people, like, the fight or flight response is designed to keep you alive in times of a life or death situation, and it's going to be over very quickly, because you're either going to get away from the bear, or the bear is going to kill and eat you.
Right.
One way or another, it's not going to last very long.
Correct.
and then we're just chronically stressed. And so all the things, so like why, just kind of talk about the sympathetic,
Yeah.
or the nervous system, and kind of with different
Yeah.
than you, nasal breathing, I'm sure is a part of it and everything. So go. So nervous
Okay.
system.
So your autonomic nervous system controls your automatic functions like breathing, heart rate, digestion, detoxification. You don't need to think like heartbeat. It automatically controls it. And it has two gears. You might think of it like the gas pedal and the brake. So when there's danger, the sympathetic gas pedal kind of takes over and redirects your resources so that you can stay alive. So your breathing increases, your blood pumps faster, and it gets routed to your arms and your legs so you can run or fight back and away from your organs of digestion. And as you pointed out, it's supposed to be short-lived, and then you're supposed to be safe, and the gas pedal then comes on, the parasympathetic, and you're supposed to recover. It's like you throw a big party, everyone goes home, and then you get to clean the house, right? But what tends to happen, what's that?
I said, and sleep. And
Exactly.
rest.
Yeah, rest and recover. But it's not just physical stresses like the lion is chasing you or someone's changing into your lane and doesn't see you. It's the psychological stresses. It's anticipatory stress. You know, if we smell fire, we anticipate the fire might burn our village, and so we respond. Similarly, if we are worried that we're going to lose our job, or someone's going to break up with us, or something, you know, we don't like who is going to be elected president tomorrow, you know, all these things, it can throw us off and kind of release all the same chemicals in your body as if you're in an actual stress. So many of us are in such anticipatory stress that we're kind of stuck in high gear all the time.
Right.
And so the things that are supposed to turn on in the body are not. Now, the on-off switch between these two states is your vagus nerve. It's cranial nerve number 10. It's the longest nerve in the body. It starts kind of at the very back of the head, base of the skull, splits, winds around both sides, kind of right behind that earlobe on the mastoid bone. If you feel behind your ear, that's where it's the most accessible to the surface, and actually the thickest. It's kind of the size of a piano chord there. It's thinner at other places. This is a good access point. And then it kind of innervates your facial muscles, your larynx, your heart, your lungs, every organ of digestion. And it's a little bit like a two-way highway. It sends information from the brain to the body, and then the body back to the brain. And if you stimulate it, activate it, whatever you want to call it, engage it by using deep breathing, by laughing, by putting oils behind your ear, by engaging in eye contact, that stimulates your vagus nerve and kind of switches you into that parasympathetic healing state. So that's a really good strategy that a lot of people don't know about. They don't realize that, you know, we went on a bike trip 2 summers ago with a family, and the kid, the boy, was like lagging behind the whole time. So I kind of showed him like, hey, did you know you can switch gears? Like I taught him how to gear shift.
Oh, right.
And at the end of the day at dinner, he's like, that's a game changer. And I'm like, uh-huh.
Using a tool like it's designed to be used. How about that?
Exactly. And you can shift gears in your body, and it's a game changer.
I know one of those ways, nasal breathing is one of those things.
Yeah.
When you're breathing
Yeah.
through your nose, that's you're activating the parasympathetic. Have you seen this? I don't know if I could do it with all of my beard, but there's this like tape that you can get, like tapes your mouth shut when you're sleeping.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
They're like make
How
sure
about
that
just
you're
regular tape? Like, could you use duct tape? Like, would that work?
I mean, I think there are a lot of ways to skin a cat. There are lots of options, you know, and some of them, like you can certainly gag yourself with a tongue compressor, but you know, compliance is really low. You know, and gagging your mouth when you sleep. I mean, there are lots of things you can do, and everyone gets to, it's like choose your own adventure.
Right.
People get to decide what they like the best.
Right. And it's all about knowing all of those different ways that you can, like on the bike, there's just the button, there's the one button that changes the gears. Well, as in the human body, there's a bunch of different ways, a bunch of different ways you can push that's going to change those gears. So that's super, super important. So what is like a day in the life of Jodi? Like what is how do you deal with stuff, especially, we're all kind of, we were doing pandemic interviews, shutdown interviews in March, April, thinking, oh, this is just going to be a short-lived thing. And here we are, November, and it's.
And then we saw the Twitter videos of people wanting to not wear masks inside the frozen yogurt store.
No end in sight. So, what are some of the things that you are kind of your go-tos?
Yeah. So the easiest way, I talked about anticipatory stress, you can kind of reverse that and go into gratitude or forgiveness. So remember that your mind kind of shifts the gears in your body. So usually when I wake up, I try to think of, at least 2 or 3 things that I can be grateful for. And honestly, it can be, as basic as like, I can move my body. It's not raining today, which in Seattle is like cause for celebration,
Right.
So I start with gratitude, and then I love to exercise. Running outside is my favorite thing. So exercise, moving your body, sunshine on your skin, being in nature, all of those things help calm your nervous system and activate parasympathetic. I use essential oils all day long. So, I use it behind the earlobe, on the mastoid bone. I smell things. I have a dog that really likes to be walked, and, he's super social. So any kind of social connection, eye contact, smiling. I know that's challenging with masks, but anything you can do to really connect with others is great. There are a lot of things you can do. There's breathing techniques, this box breathing technique that the headline news is that the exhale needs to be longer than the inhale. So you can inhale. Yeah, that's when you really activate parasympathetic. So you inhale.
That's when your heart rate slows down.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, they call it heart rate variability. And what it basically means is resilience. So it's not that you're making your heart beat faster or beat slower. It's just kind of how quickly do you recover? So like the high school athletes, they sprint for 2 minutes and then they get 30 seconds to recover. How quickly in that 30 seconds does their heart rate go back to normal? And that gives you kind of the resilience to navigate things. You just want to kind of train yourself to recover quickly.
I'm glad you mentioned heart rate variability. That's I always talk about like the human body and mind is designed to be exposed to variation, right?
Right.
Cold temperature, hot or cold. We're not supposed to be at 72 degrees sitting in a chair all day and like taking medication that's keeping our mood like this. Like there's good moods and there's bad moods.
You just described my entire life.
Yeah.
72 degrees, right? Exactly.
72 degrees chair medicine.
Well, but a funny biological kind of clue to this is heart rate variability, where you think like, okay, a good heartbeat is going to be my heart beats every second on the second for a minute. And that's actually a sign of very high stress. Like Olympic athletes, they'll take a heart rate variability test in the morning, and if it's not at a certain level, they won't train that day. Like, and you want it to be a little bit different. You want it, you want that, like, resilience is a good word for it, but you want that variation. That's a sign of health. So isn't that like a cool way to say, okay, well, if that's true, then yeah, we are designed to be exposed to different things and variation. And it's good to not just be so super comfortable all the time, through every phase of our day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, stress is good in moderation. It can motivate you to meet deadlines. We're not designed, it's kind of the 80-20 rule, right? We're not supposed to be 100% parasympathetic. 20% of the time, it's good to have some stress. Yeah. And then we need to recover. The challenge is when we're 100% sympathetic and we never get that downtime to recover, then it kind of, a lot of delayed maintenance can catch up with you.
Right. Let's quickly talk about, I know in some of the talking points that were sent over, and I've done this before, like I've read something off the talking point, and then the person is like, I'm sorry, what was on the talking point? But it says there are 5 steps to regaining control of health. Can you do those 5 steps?
Yeah. So I have a book coming out March 16th. It's called Essential Oils to Boost the Brain and Heal the Body. And it's really, there are a lot of people that say you can use essential oils for everything. I don't think it's a magic bullet. I think that it's really good for certain things. And I think that those certain things happen to align with what, it's hard to address through just food and nutrients alone. So I really detail kind of what I think the 5 the underlying issues for most people are that if you can return these systems to balance, you feel a lot better and the symptoms go away.
Right.
So the first one is vagus nerve function, and being able to activate the parasympathetic nervous system and sustain heart rate variability. The second one is sleep. If you're not sleeping, it's incredibly hard to heal. And I get into more detail about how sleep is not just one panacea where it's like just take lavender, because if you are having trouble falling asleep, that's a little bit different than if you're waking up in the middle of the night. If you're waking up.
I'm sorry. I got really excited because I love sleep. I was going to say, or if you wake up, you fall asleep fast, but you wake up and you feel like crap. But how are you sleeping? Oh, I fall asleep really fast. I'm sleeping fine. But I feel like crap when I wake up. Well, no, there's dysfunction happening. Okay, sorry.
Exactly. No, there are 4 major issues that can impact sleep. If your cortisol, your stress hormone cortisol has kind of an antagonistic relationship with your sleep hormone melatonin. So if cortisol is high at night because you're stressed and there might be danger, if you're going to die, you really shouldn't fall asleep.
Right.
So that throws off melatonin function. So there are essential oils you can use that trigger your pineal gland to naturally release melatonin. So that's what you do if you have trouble falling asleep. If you're waking up at around 1 a.m. and you're wide awake, that's nocturnal hypoglycemia. There was a blood sugar dip. Your adrenal glands released emergency energy into the body in the form of cortisol or adrenaline, and now you feel very adrenalized. You're wide awake. You could write a term paper. But it's your pancreas that then releases insulin to help carry the glucose out of the blood and back into the cells. So anything you can do to support pancreatic function with essential oils like rose geranium is a great one, helps you fall back asleep. If you wake up around 3 a.m. and maybe you need to use the bathroom and you're a little groggy, that's usually your detoxification organs are overworking. So anything you can do to support your liver and your gallbladder can really help alleviate those wake-ups.
Huh. Gosh, see, I love all that stuff. And I mean, my wife, we have essential oils everywhere being diffused everywhere. And we've got the little things where you roll them here and put them in here. And so there's different things like, oh, you're feeling this way. Okay, I'm going to go through my little thing here. And she pulls out the right one and so you need this one, And so, I was also going to say the other thing.
You married well.
I know. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Sometimes too well. I'm always like, I'm just expecting her to just be gone one day. Just kidding. So
that got dark real fast. Yeah, she's great. One of these days she's going to leave me.
No, gone because okay, so that was the second thing. So what were the other 5? Did you get
the other 3? There are 5 total. So parasympathetic, sleep are 1 and 2. 3 is drainage. So, garbage in, garbage out, right? In order for metabolic waste, environmental toxins, whatever you have to leave the body, the exit route is they leave the cell, they go into your lymphatic fluid, which drains into your blood, which carries it to the liver, the gallbladder, the intestines, and then ideally the toilet. At any point in that chain of command, it can get congested and pushed back into the blood and then out through your skin, and you have blemishes, or your kidneys and you have low back pain and urinate too much. So what oils are really good for is moving fluids in the body. So you can use oils to kind of enhance drainage to make sure that the exit route is open so that the things leave the body. It's a really great use for oils, and that's a really kind of hard to reach spot through just supplements or diet alone.
Right. Yeah. Golly, there's a whole other topic there on that. Like when things don't get pushed out and they got to go somewhere,
Yeah, they backlog.
Yeah. That's a huge thing. Okay. So that was 3.
It's 3. Then 4 is kind of the energy to heal, and stress can pull a lot of energy from your system and kind of deplete you and make you feel fatigued and make it harder for your body to actually heal. And stress, it isn't just, the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic sympathetic. There's a whole other system, your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, kind of the command center for all of your hormones. And that can kind of get overworked and fatigued. And so you can use oils, especially it's really hard to get any remedy into the brain because most remedies, in order to pass the blood-brain barrier, things need to be super small and fat soluble. So like you can't do chemo in the brain because the molecules are too big. So it's hard if the hypothalamus is kind of like the CEO. It's constantly monitoring everything that's going on, taking that input, and then sending out chemical messages. And it sends it through the pituitary and then down to the thyroid, the adrenals, all the energy makers. And then there's what's called a negative feedback loop, where those organs send out their own, hormones, and that comes back in the blood, and the hypothalamus is like, okay, we're good. We have enough cortisol. We don't need to keep making more. But because of kind of overwhelming toxins, the hypothalamus can get a little bit confused, just like your phone can glitch. And so you can use oils to basically reboot your hypothalamus to factory settings so that it works better. You can use it to kind of balance your adrenals. One thing that most people do, they take a 24-hour cortisol test. You spit into a tube and check your saliva. And it's not like your cortisol levels are over flatline. Like they're supposed to be the highest in the morning so you feel awake, and the lowest at night so you fall asleep. And sometimes they're reversed, or at different points during the day, they're in different places. And there are a lot of remedies that bring cortisol up or lower cortisol, but if you take the wrong one at the wrong time, it makes you feel even worse. So plants like adaptogenic herbs kind of meet you where you're at. If you're too high, they bring you down. If you're too low, they bring you up. And that's how oils work. They just kind of level it out. So no matter where you're at, it's not like you can diagnose in any way.
Right.
And then the fifth thing is immune modulation. So what often happens is your immune system is either over-functioning and you get autoimmunity, or under-functioning. You're stuck in sympathetic, and there are all these chronic infections that are kind of building up under the surface, and the immune system isn't doing anything. So just making sure that your immune system works with you and not against you. And that's where oils really shine, because they're antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. They're fantastic for immune support.
The book is Essential Oils to Heal the Brain and Boost the Body, 5 Steps to Calm Anxiety, Sleep Better, Reduce Inflammation, and Regain Control of Health, correct?
Yeah, boost the brain and heal the body. And we actually have, if anything that I said sounds interesting, you can download a free chapter at boostthebrainbook.com/gift.
Hang on, Boost the
Brain Book.
book.com/gift. I'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't believe we're out of time. But we have to ask you the final question, and running can't be your answer because you already mentioned it.
Okay.
So what is one thing that you enjoy about life, or something you do to make life more enjoyable? It's like a hobby, or just something that you just think just fires you up.
Well, I love yoga, and I love to ski, and I love hugs.
I'm going to put and hugs.
Yeah. Well, it's like Olaf. I like warm hugs.
How have you handled
I was just thinking this when you're about to ask.
Distancing? It's been really hard for me because I'm like a hugger too, and like at least a handshaker. And we're doing this.
I feel weird doing the elbow bump. I feel so awkward.
Like I miss hugs. How have you dealt with that?
Well, I have a daughter who's a good hugger.
Okay.
And I have a lot of friends that, I know a lot about immune health, so I'm not remotely worried that I'm going to get anyone sick.
Right. You're not sneezing in anyone's mouth. Right?
No, and actually,
it just sneezes right in their face.
Yeah, I mean, even before COVID, cypress essential oil is a really good one for the lungs. It really helps kind of, if you think of your immune barriers like a moat around the castle. As long as the moat's pretty full and there are alligators chomping, no one's getting into the castle. So if you can cut off whatever's going on so it doesn't get through the lungs and cause internal inflammation, you're good. And cypress oil is a really good tool.
All right, Jodi, this has been awesome. We're about maybe 3 or 4 weeks out from getting these out, but I'll let you know when it goes up, and it'll be audio and visual. But this has been great. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great night.
And if there's any way, the book comes out March 16th.
Oh yeah.
If you can time it with that release, that'd be even better.
Oh yeah. I mean, we can wait and push this one out like in January or something.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And is there a good email I can follow up with and give you like links?
Yeah. So just Simply Human Lifestyle, all one word. simplyhumanlifestyle@gmail.com.
Okay.
Rick's is Big Dumb Idiot at gmail.com. That's Rick's email address. So you can just go ahead and find him there.
simplyhumanlifestyle@gmail.com. And what grade were you guys in when you met?
Like fifth.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, we've known each other for a million years.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Awesome. Well, have a good one, and we'll looking forward to talking to you soon.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks.
I do.
Bye.
You're listening to the Simply Human podcast.
That was Jodi, and that reminds me that we have had some pretty good and remembers lately. I've been having fun with the and remembers.
Yeah.
The last few shows, and so I'm excited that now that I have the new Mac, that I'm not going to be so like dreading getting the videos up. Like it's going to be a much faster.
On your old computer, it would take like 2 hours, and you said now it's like 15 minutes.
It would take 2 hours or 3 hours after I had recorded, and while I was editing, it would like do the pinwheel thing, and I would have to just like lesson in like meditation, to like not lose my.
Not throw your spaghetti all over the place.
Right. But like I have to get up and go do something else or work on something else, but not like just like want to punch the computer. And like so it would take me a couple hours to edit, and then it would take 2 or 3 hours for it to finish uploading. And so now like I did a few and like my iMovie wasn't working on my old Mac, like it wasn't communicating to YouTube, and this one is. So I bought all that new like video editing equipment. And I bought like the lifetime subscription, and I don't even need it anymore.
You can make your own movies now.
Yeah. So iMovie is back.
Alan the Cowboy. We can make Alan the Cowboy the sequel.
I don't need you or anybody to be my mother. I say that once a week.
And no one gets it except for me and you.
Yeah.
That is a movie that Mark and I made when we were both like 15.
It's
about
on
a guy
YouTube somewhere, isn't it? Didn't I?
I hope not. I hope it's not. Where Alan the Cowboy worked at Taco Bell and he got severe diarrhea. That's the whole plot. That's the plot of the movie.
And the sound
and the movie
effect
lasted 2 minutes.
and the sound effect was a cassette tape recording that I had made of my own parts. That was the sound effect while you were sitting on the toilet. We did a Dumb and Dumber before a Dumb and Dumber was a thing. That was it was the Dumb and Dumber scene we had actual audio of actual farts. It wasn't just someone's mouth.
I'm gonna start working on the script tomorrow.
I think we're booked out in February. That's gonna do it for this edition of the Simply Human podcast.
And remember, could Blake do a 10-on-1?
So until next time, enjoy yourself.